What's going on, everybody? I am back with another Prizepicks MLB player props video. This one going to be breaking it down, sharing with you guys the very first 6 pick flex that I did lock in this morning that I did send over to the VIP. We got a massive slate today. We got WNBA, MLB going on. This first slip's going to be all MLB. Going to be talking about the process that goes into my picks, the same process that went into these picks here. It's a little bit of a different sport, obviously MLB, so the process isn't the exact same, but a lot of the same concepts are going to be discussed throughout this video, guys. We're going to be playing a lot of 6 pick flexes on this channel. Had 2 hooks last night, man. I mean, the hit rate's been fantastic. You can see a double up here and a double up here were the 2 tickets that we were really hoping to come through for a sweep. Jackie Young had hurt us the night before. So we had, once again, 2 hooks over in the VIP myself. But the hit rate's been fantastic. If you're wondering why I played these 5 and 6 pick flexes and missed by 1 leg and drive myself crazy, it's because it's the smartest thing to do, man. Eventually, if you keep the hit rate up, you're going to get that sweep. And if you're hitting at a 60% hit rate or higher on your individual picks on Prizepicks in 5 and 6 pick flexes, you're going to get a massive return on investment. So if you're new to the channel, you're like, why is this guy only playing 5 and 6 pick flexes? They are the optimal slip type. You're getting the best bang for your buck. If you were to go onto a sports book, they charge implied odds. These apps, they have hidden implied odds behind the wall, essentially. That's how that works. If you head on over to my Discord, my university tab, I'll pull it up here for you guys for free to help you learn on the channel. This is how it's going to break down for you on Prizepicks. Okay, guys, you're getting minus 119 implied odds in 5 and 6 pick flexes. Just think of it as you're going to the grocery store, you're getting the best bang for your buck, you're getting the best price. Okay, so if you were to go on a sports book, minus 119 means you would have to risk $119 to win 100. Since it is on Prizepicks, since no matter what we put in our tickets, we're getting 25x our money in a 6 pick flex, right? It doesn't matter what we take. Doesn't matter what props we take. If we take 6 in a 5 or 6 pick flex, we're getting a 25x payout. Unless you correlate your stuff, they have payout shifts. But if you get a standard entry in, right, you're getting 25x your money. So if you're new to the channel, you're wondering why I do that. Hopefully that helped you out. I teach how to do this over in the VIP. Long term, you're going to get, once again, so I had 2 tickets here. I had more tickets that didn't go this well, obviously. Not every single ticket's going to be a double up. But just like in this example, these 2 tickets, it's a 80% hit rate on the 2 of them. So it sucks, only double our money. You know, we didn't sweep on these 2, but if the process is locked in and you're hitting your picks at this high of a hit rate, you're going to get a massive return on investment, man. 80% hit rate's unrealistic long term. That's just not going to happen. But if you were to keep it up, you know, you're getting a 318% return on investment on 5 pick flexes and a 644% return investment on those 6 pick flexes. We're really just aiming to get 55 or higher for that 7% ROI. And then obviously anything higher we can get is just really fantastic. That 60% hit rate, a 66% return on investment long term, man. That's a lot better than what you can do in a lot of other investment vehicles. So anywho, saw a lot of comments last video of, you know, this guy hasn't hit in whatever, hasn't swept in 10 videos or whatever the case may be. 1, you're not getting all my plays. I'm sharing with you 1 ticket for free on the channel that I'm locking in, right? We're going to get some sweeps. Don't you worry on the free content. But 2, the 5 and 6 pick flexes, you don't need to be nearly as perfect to profit. So I just want to make that known. I want to help provide a bunch of value on the channel here for free. If you really want to learn how to do all this long term, really make good money, return on your investment long term, hop over in the VIP. Just keep in mind, guys, when you're running 6 pick flexes, if you do the math, you really only need to hit 2 out of every 40, essentially, man. Like, it's crazy. I talk about it all the time over in the VIP. If you have any questions about that, you can leave comments. I'll help you out for free here in the comment section as well if you're confused about the concepts I just discussed. But anywho, let's talk about it. Let's go game by game, as we always do, guys. And we got a bunch of strikeout props I'm going to discuss here today. A bunch of different data points pointing to these all being fantastic plays. And the first guy we're going to discuss is going to be Justin Steele, this 5.5 strikeout prop. He gets to take on the Cincinnati Reds today, who have not been striking out versus left-handed pitching whatsoever on the season. So they really have been a tough matchup for opposing SPs as far as strikeouts are concerned. And that's why I have interest in Justin Steele's under here today. We go down this lineup versus left-handed pitching on the season. You can see a lot of green here in the strikeout category. That's just implying that these guys are simply not striking out. 10%, 11%, 13, 12, 19, 21. You know, they just really don't strike out. up and down the heart of this order. So I've got this entire lineup pulled up. This is what they're expected to roll out for a lineup versus left-handed pitching versus Steele here tonight. These are the underlying metrics we're looking at, right? There's really only one guy, Elly De La Cruz, who's striking out at a 27.4% clip on the season. The rest of these guys just simply don't strike out. If we look at the most recent sample size over the last 30 days, Elly's strikeout rate's actually been coming down a little bit as well, down to a 23% K rate over the last 30 at-bats. And then these guys, over the last 30 days, are striking out at an even lower rate. So the underlying metrics are really pointing this to be a terrible matchup for Steele as far as a strikeout rate. He's only got a 21.6% K rate versus right-handed hitting as is on the season. It's really the lefties he's been striking out at a high clip with a 25.7% K rate versus those left-handed bats. But there's literally expected to be one lefty in the entire lineup in TJ Friedel, and he really doesn't strike out a lot either versus left-handed pitching. So all of these things are pointing towards the under being a good play. And then if we go ahead and we pull up the Daily Guy Fantasy Optimizer, for those of you that are not familiar with this tool, it's going to streamline all of our top props in the entire board, right? The best possible prop you can take on the entire board is going to be Justin Steele's under 5.5 strikeouts. He is favored on all of these sports books to go under. It makes a ton of sense to me. We just talked about all those data points, right? As far as the Cincinnati Reds, they just simply don't strike out versus left-handed pitching. If you're new to baseball, you don't know baseball, like these teams are going to play differently and perform differently versus left-handed pitching versus right-handed pitching. It's just a thing in baseball. Right versus left hitting and pitching is really important when it comes to matchups. If you know nothing about baseball, you've come to the right spot. I know a ton about it. But like from the most simple aspect, like right versus left is a thing in baseball for those of you that don't know. So that's all factored into the odds, but you can see it's the best possible prop on the board, according to GGF. All these sports books with millions of dollars of data invested all have been favored on the under. I could see this juice continue to climb, man. Like minus 127, minus 122, minus 125 isn't the greatest of juice on a prop like this. And we just talked about all those underlying metrics. Like, I think we're jumping on this one early because I think that juice could continue to climb up throughout the day. It's not a good matchup for strikeouts for Steele here tonight. So that'll be pick number 1 for us here on the video today. We're going with the under on the 5.5 strikeouts for Justin Steele. Pick number 2 is going to be the exact opposite. It's going to be Garrett Crochet taking on the Red Sox. He's a lefty that has a very high strikeout rate, and the Red Sox strike out a ton versus left-handed pitching. It's pretty disgraceful, honestly, how bad they've been over the last 30 days. A ton of red, man. They strike out a ton. If we look at the entire season sample size for the Red Sox, especially once we get down to the bottom of the order, I mean, 30% for Rafaela, 54% for Dahlbeck, 26% for Cooper, 36% for O'Neill, 31% for Devers. Like, the entire lineup just strikes out a ton. So this is really a dream matchup for a guy in Garrett Crochet who has just elite strikeout stuff. We're talking about, on the season, a 43% K rate versus left-handed hitting and a 31.9% K rate versus right-handed hitting. So, I mean, this guy's got ridiculously good K stuff, and then you factor in the matchup. I mean, this could be a really good K ladder prop, honestly, for those of you that are on the sports books. I haven't quite started putting out sportsbook content yet on my second YouTube channel. That's coming soon. We actually hit on a bet on that last night. If you go to my YouTube community page, you'll see that for the Tatum double-double. But side note, anyways, dream matchup for Crochet here. Elite strikeout guy. And then once again, it looks like someone might have got bumped here. Yep, Lance Lynn just got bumped while I'm recording. Shocker. These plays are probably going to get bumped, man. I came on the channel to try to share these as soon as I could. Lance Lynn over 5.5 strikeouts was going to be one prop we were going to discuss here. He just got bumped. Is what it is. But Crochet, great matchup. And then we can once again pull up the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and all of these different data points on the sports books are going to agree with us. It is the best possible prop you could take on the board for Garrett Crochet. And I just talked about all the underlying metrics, right? So what am I looking at in my process? I want market data. Millions of dollars invested in that. I want to be looking at all the underlying metrics, right? People are like, do you watch the games? Does this guy know anything about sport? One, I know more about baseball than you if you're watching this. I can pretty much guarantee that. There's very rare amount of people that know as much because I've been deep into the MLB grind for quite some time. But two, all of these markets are going to have way more information at a faster rate than you can put through your brain oftentimes, all right? That's how they're so good. That's why they're millions, billions dollar monopoly here, sports books taking average sports bettors' money that don't know what they're doing, okay? So minus 135 on the over on Pinnacle, minus 135 on the over on DraftKings, minus 135 on the over on BetMGM, minus 130 on the over. All of these sports books are favoring the Garrett Crochet over strikeouts. They're factoring in this data we just discussed, okay? Sometimes in MLB, I'll disagree with some of the odds because it's like you look at the underlying metrics and it's like, what's going on? But everything's matching up here today, which makes me happy. So the Crochet will be the second pick. Third pick is going to be Griffin Canning, and we're going to talk about his under here. He's taken on Houston. Has hit the over in 2 of his last 5, but this is not really a high strikeout guy, guys. And the Astros are a team that they just don't strike out. They're going to put the ball in play. They're going to give you tough at-bats. Canning's only got a 16.2% K rate versus lefties, a 16.4% K rate versus righties. And look at this lineup up and down once again. For the Astros, there's really only 2 guys that strike out versus right-handed pitching in it. That's going to be Jose Abreu in the 8th spot and Jake Myers in the 4th spot. Other than that, they really don't have a lot of strikeouts, right? So we're talking about a guy that has underwhelming strikeout stuff as is in Griffin Canning with a 16.4% K rate versus righties, 16.2% K rate versus lefties, and he has to take on a matchup in the Houston Astros that don't strike out. And then lastly, we're just going to keep pulling up the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer in this video because it just so happens that all of these odds are agreeing with my underlying metric research here, right? We're looking at some serious juice on the under across the entire industry. Minus 145 on the under on Pinnacle, minus 132 on the under on FanDuel, minus 130 on the under on DraftKings. Like every single one of these sports books is saying that the under. And then if we want to even get more detailed, guys, another tool that you'll see me talk about, OddsJam Sportsbook screen. I love to pull this up. We talked about that steal. If you really want to be seeing like all of the different data points, right? You can pull that up for Canning. So I've got like every single sports book selected on this tool. You can get that discount with the promo code KJKD on OddsJam and DGF. This is going to get you all of these. Like if we went over to Bet Rivers, for instance, today, we'd have to risk minus 157 on the under. You'd have to risk $157 to win 100, right? I pulled up at the beginning of the video the implied odds and a Prizepicks 5 or 6 pick flex. I talked about why I only play them, right? We're getting minus 119. Just a crazy difference that you're getting. Locking in the same exact prop, right? It's under 4.5 strikeouts. It's the same exact prop, but we're getting minus 119 on Prizepicks. That's what we want. We want to be getting the best deal. That's how we're going to win money long term, okay? So hopefully this content's helping get that through your head. If you're someone that's a new sports bettor and you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, that's why I provide this content. That's why I provide the VIP, right? I'm going to help you out, explain all these concepts. But yes, another fantastic prop, Griffin Canning on the under 4.5. Then we'll try to speed things up a little bit here. I was going to talk about Lance Lynn. He did get bumped. I liked the 5.5 strikeouts. Like my entire slip that I locked in is here. We'll break down these next couple guys that I like. So we had the under Justin Steele 5.5, the over 7.5 for Garrett Crochet, the over 5.5 for Lance Lynn. I don't play bumps. I'd recommend you just run a 5-pick flex, but I mean, I want to break down exactly why I like this prop as always. Lance Lynn's a guy that's been really striking out right-handed hitting at a higher clip on the season than left-handed hitting. So we go out and pull up his underlying metrics. He's got a 25.4% K rate versus righties. That's really solid. The left-handed hitters have given him a little bit more of a trouble. And the Rockies have a bunch of high strikeout righties. Toglia at the bottom order, he's a switch hitter actually, but you got Montero 21%, Doyle's 29%, Rogers 25.3%, all right-handed hitters, Tovar 28.9% clip, all right-handed hitters, right? So a lot of high strikeout right-handed bats. You got Tovar, Diaz, Rogers, Doyle, Montero. Then they mix in a few lefties, but even the lefties strike out at a very high clip here, 42.9% clip here for Toglia, even though Lynn's strikeout rate dips down to an 18.1% clip versus those lefties. That's a high enough strikeout rate. Any major league pitcher could strike him out. That's just he's striking out so much. So Lynn was another guy that I wanted to promote here. He did get bumped, unfortunately. And we'll round things out with Brandon Pfaadt and Michael King. We'll make this quick. They're both in the same game. And they're both opposites here. So Pfaadt's going to be on the under. It's Brandon Pfaadt. It's got a weird last name, but he's taking on the San Diego Padres, who just don't strike out versus right-handed pitching. He's been striking out righties at a high clip, at a 28.8% clip. It dips all the way down to a 19.1% K rate versus those left-handed bats, though. And none of these guys really strike out outside of David Peralta, who is a lefty. So the fact that Pfaadt's strikeout rate dips down is going to help us there as well, that he's the left-handed bat versus those left-handed hitters. So we want to be taking his under here. You can see clearly like these guys don't strike out. And once again, we can pull up the GGF optimizer. It's going to agree with me here today. It's just one of those days where like all of the data points are pointing in the right direction, which makes me happy, right? The sports books are agreeing with me. My underlying metrics are agreeing with me. Sometimes I'll look at some of these odds in the MLB. Like I said, I'm looking at the underlying metrics here of like the different strikeout rates, and I'm seeing there's juice one way, and I'm going, what the heck? But today, it's really, everything's pointing in the same direction, which makes me happy. Minus 130 on the under, minus 125, minus 125, minus 125. You can see all of these different sports books. You'd have to risk more. They're saying there's a really good chance he stays under this prop. You're going to have to risk more money to win less if you're going to take the under because it's more likely to happen, okay? And then last but not least, we'll round things out with Michael King as the last leg of this 6 pick here on the over 5.5 strikeouts. And once again, we got good odds. We got good underlying metrics. Everything's making sense here. Arizona on the season haven't been striking out that much. We go to their last 30 days, though. Strikeout rates have been climbing up a lot here. And Michael King's strikeout rates have been climbing up a lot over the last 30 days as well. He's got a 29.6% K rate versus righties on the season, 20.4 to the left side. And then we go to his last 30 days, it's all the way up to a 33.3% K rate versus right-handed bats, and all the way up to a 23.3% K rate versus left-handed bats. So Jock Peterson, a guy, 35.9% K rate. Marte, Corbin Carroll, the top 3 guys in this lineup are striking out above, like 25% of the time, which is huge. Obviously, we would prefer to have, if we're taking the over strikeouts, the more strikeouts towards the top of the order, because he's going to face those guys the most amount of times. Once the lineup turns over, he's only going to throw a certain amount of pitches. He's going to face the guys at the top of the lineup more than the bottom of the lineup. So anytime you can get guys with high strikeout rates at the top of the lineup and you're targeting the over on a strikeout prop, that's going to be very good. So King's strikeout rates climbing up. The Arizona Diamondbacks have been striking out more recently. And lastly, let's go ahead and pull up our good friend here, Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and it does agree with us that this is going to be a good prop. It's the best prop on the entire board. Minus 132 on the over on Pinnacle, minus 134 on the over on FanDuel, minus 135 on the over on DraftKings, minus 135 on the over on Caesars, right? All of these different data points, all of my underlying metrics are all pointing towards him being a good play today on the over 5.5 strikeouts. So that will be my full 6-pick flex that I did lock myself, that I did send over to the VIP this morning, guys. Here it is. And once again, you're never going to see me promote any plays on this channel that I'm not playing myself. This is just the first ticket. I'm going to have more tickets over there. We got a ton of WNBA games going on today. We got a ton of MLB games going on today. So I just come on the channel and try to share with you one ticket that I locked in for free. It's free content, hopefully help you out. It's a 1-unit play, so whatever you typically put on your tickets, $5. Some people are going to play $5. Some people, I played $400. I didn't just get here overnight. So be disciplined with your bankroll. Don't be playing more than you should just because you see me playing the 400. But my goal is to provide valuable content, and I always back my plays with my own money. Okay, so it's legit. Some content creators aren't quite, to the point of this. It took a long time for me to get to this point, but I'm just saying it's legitimate stuff of actually playing, providing the content. You've come to the right spot if you're looking for help with Prizepicks picks, and you should head on over to the VIP as soon as possible if you're someone that's playing Prizepicks every single day. I now have offered sports betting as well, like I said. So last night we hit on the Jason Tatum double-double. Sports books, you hear me talk about all these hidden implied odds on Prizepicks. Minus 130 on Jason Tatum to record a double-double. This was a 5-star play for me on the betting aspect because the entire market was ripping this towards like minus 170, honestly. And FanDuel only had it at 130. So it's a similar thing of we're line shopping, right? And it's like, okay, they're very clearly misrepresenting this prop. Let's go ahead and lock that bad boy in. So the sports betting is slowly starting to ramp up over there as well. It's a slow rollout. I added that in without the price tag going up because I want to make sure the product's really good before I start adding on. It's going to cost more in the future is my assumption. But for the time being, it's all rolled into that same $49.99 price tag. So slow rollout on the sports betting. We got Prizepicks, Underdog, Fantasy, Sleeper, all the above going on over there. So check it out. Just want you to know that's a resource. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell on your way out the door. Hopefully this cashes out first. A nice 6-pick sweep for you on the free stuff today. And I'll have a bunch of more picks going on over in the VIP. So thanks for tuning in. Wishing you all the best of luck tonight on your Prizepicks MLB props. And we will see you in the next one.